Good morning. Saturday morning. Bitcoin is at 55K. Yes, please. Absolutely a yes, please. This candle, because this weekly candle, looking at this candle here, well, actually, these last two candles have been kind of a breath of fresh air for a lot of people, I'm sure. Especially people that were buying up here, all the way up here, that freaked out. I know people that bought a healthy amount of Bitcoin, healthy amount of cryptocurrency up in this range between the $55,000 to $65,000 mark. And they've been upside down for quite a while. They had their opportunity to lower the dollar cost average, but it was scary. All of this was super scary. This huge drop, one of the biggest drops that we've seen in crypto. Good morning, Natural Canadian. How's it going, bro? Yeah, I guess it is like the bridge of morning, afternoon, eh? I guess depending on the coast or where in the world that you live in. But I think most of my viewers, at least a lot of people that come to the live streams, are around this area, actually around like Ontario, Canada, which is cool. So we saw this huge dip. Everyone got scared. Everyone went through this whole period of real bearish thinking, right? Even I was really bearish, and I said we can't be bullish until we're above 55,000. We were trading in that level between 42 and 32,000, so it's a very, very low margin for Bitcoin compared to where it was. And now here we are, a week into October. We're just ending week 2? Is this? Well, no, we're not ending week 2, but we are ending the second week green. Week 1 of October, technically, I guess you could say. And here we are. Up approximately from, let's say, the bottom, up approximately 26% today. A little bit more, maybe closer to 30%, because I'm kind of off on measuring that, which is crazy compared to where we came from. Now, we've said things like, September is kind of a shitty month. If you look at like past track records of September, I don't think I expected a green candle like this. Now, I think in a couple of videos ago, I mentioned that Bitcoin could most likely get up to like $75,000, maybe even by the end of October. I still think that is very possible, because that is not a big increase from here. And if you look at just how much how much money we've already increased, it wouldn't be unfeasible to see a 36% increase from here going up to 75,000 by the end of October. Could potentially see something like that. Could potentially see a move like that. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't see any consolidations or any retracements or anything like that. I mean, we could get into the trap where everyone thinks that Bitcoin only goes up, which is a very common trap for people to get into. We all know, because we had kind of this lovely thing here where we had a couple of red weeks, but nothing really crazy. We had this like drop down, went right back up, and then we had our Wyckoff distribution before we dropped off. So now we're obviously looking bullish again. Everything's looking very well for Bitcoin. In terms of altcoins, we still don't have much movement for something like Cardano. And I think this is a very important thing to highlight in terms of Cardano, because I definitely think once Bitcoin is relaxing, because right now Bitcoin is extending, it's going up, it's pumping. Hopefully it's going to break all-time highs, and hopefully it's going to go in price discovery soon. But that means Cardano is going to take a back seat for a bit. It's just going to relax. It's just going to chill out. And then eventually, when Bitcoin has stopped, when it starts trading level, Cardano is going to follow suit. And that $4 Cardano is in the cards. It's absolutely going to come. It's not a big move from where Cardano is right now. And Cardano has made a lot of moves similar to that before. So I'm absolutely seeing that going to happen. Now, that being said, even though Cardano hasn't moved, there are some altcoins that have moved. And then there are some altcoins that really haven't moved at all, even after the drop. One being Solana, kind of just trading sideways, that sideways trading. All right, let's take it off the weekly view so we can see a better look here. So just kind of trading sideways after what we thought could have potentially been a bull flag. Didn't really end up being what we wanted it to be. It went back up with the Bitcoin capitulation, or the Bitcoin pump, and then it's just kind of trading sideways. I still think Solana is a good purchase. It's still really high though. If you look at the chart, look at where it is. It's still like really, really extended. So I wouldn't be like throwing all the money possible at it, but It is something. How about Theta Token? Yeah, hey man, how's it going? Let's take a look at Theta. I remember you from way back in the day. Theta, I own some Theta, right? So Theta is a really good token in terms of like the gaming aspect, in terms of the NFT aspect. I think it's going to do very well. We saw that incredible pump from Theta way back, like during the start of the bull market. It was like one of the first altcoins that really shot up, and I have some. So I was really happy to see that big pump up for Theta. Now, we could see another one of these, right? This was incredible. This whole thing was incredible, going up to, what was that, $14 Theta? Just insane. Now we're sitting at $6. Are we going to see a $14 Theta? I think that's a pretty easy Theta to take a look at. I think we could easily see something like that. You probably hear the geese chirping out the window. But right there is a 50% increase. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. But Theta is one of those blockchains that it does have the support, especially by people in the gaming community. And the Theta platform, if you look at the Theta platform, so we're all talking about decentralization, getting off of governments and everything else. And companies, and we see what, like Facebook, right? There's this big narrative about Facebook hurting our children and making everyone feel bad about their bodies. There's issues with other social media companies. There's issues with YouTube and censorship and everything else like that. When you look at Theta as this decentralized platform where anyone can upload to, that actually looks good going into what we're going into in this modern day where we have so many issues, I guess, with social media and social media platforms. And Theta is not a bad streaming platform. And I think once the network effect gets on and more people are streaming and running nodes on Theta, it could be comparable, if not better, than, say, YouTube today. So it could potentially overtake YouTube. Potentially. Again, potentially. I'm not saying it's going to, definite for sure. Google is a behemoth. But that being said, one of the co-founders of YouTube are on the Theta project. So take that with what you will. How's it going, Tim or Nancy? I don't know which one it is. I'm assuming it's Tim, but maybe it could be Nancy. Is there any cause for concern for USDT invested in Celsius? I would stay away from USDT. This is going to be FUD for the sake of FUD. I want to be clear. The reason why I would stay away from USDT, if you look at Coinzilla did an amazing video on Tether. I highly encourage you to do that. Go look at him. He talks about MLM scams and everything else. And he broke down Tether's issues among what's been going on with their reserves, whether their reserves are backed fully by U.S. note, which it's not. Some of their reserves, and I think 60% of their reserves, are backed by money that was loaned to them, right? So paper money. And then some of it is assets like Bitcoin. For a while, what they were doing is when you hand in a Tether dollar, they're supposed to burn that Tether dollar. Every Tether dollar that you give them, they burn it. So every American dollar you give them, they mint a Tether dollar. That's essentially how the business should work. What they ended up doing is instead of burning the Tether dollars, they bought Bitcoin with the Tether dollars. I don't know how it's illegal. I don't know how any of that is allowed to fly with the FTC and the SEC. My concern is that the practices of Tether are not sustainable long term and could potentially collapse. But if Tether collapses, that'll probably cause a ripple in the whole crypto economy. I would definitely, if you're looking for stablecoin, I would look at USDC or DAI, DAI. I think Celsius offers both of them. I mean, Pax Gold is also going to be a good coin to look at as well. And then you have Cardano Gold that's going to be coming out from Meld. That's going to be the stable coin backed by gold. So it is going to be only worth $1, but it's backed by gold, right? The problem here is that Tether has $70 billion in that market cap. $70 billion would take down the whole economy. For a period of time. It wouldn't kill anything. Like, crypto can't die. But it would definitely have a huge ripple effect on cryptocurrencies and costs a mass amount of FUD, especially if you think of how much China utilizes Tether to make big Bitcoin leverage plays and everything else. It's a confusing situation, but it's also pretty dire if Tether continues. Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And the thing about USDT is like if you look at the ownership. So I think it's Bitfinex. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Bitfinex. Bitfinex said no, we don't own Tether. Like we're not associated with Tether. Well, we find out later on that the CEO of Tether is the owner of Bitfinex, right? Like they own the company. We also find out that Bitfinex was going to go belly up. Literally could not pay its debt. Somehow got a big cash infusion to pay off that debt. That's weird. It's almost like they had a money printing machine. I'm not going to put two and two together there. I'll leave that for you. And then on top of everything, when they were asked to show their reserves, or when they wanted to prove that they wanted to show their reserves, I think it was them who initiated it. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And you look back at the records of the transfers, they transferred the funds into the account that was supposed to show, hey, we have the money's there. They transferred those funds the day before and then immediately after the inspection. And I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I don't like it when a CEO has to go up and say, don't worry, the money's all there. That sentence I never want to hear ever. So there's a few red flags that have kind of like tipped me off to like, hey, okay, Tether might not be the safest thing to have your money sitting into. That being said, I mean, like, I think even outside of Tether, you're going to be impacted no matter what. If Tether goes down, crypto is going to suffer for a good little bit, and it would be some serious FUD. But Tether would have to literally go down. And I don't, like, I can't say that would happen definitively because I've seen worse things happen and worse organizations be allowed to continue to operate, and more regulations come in. We have heard Jerome Powell, though, talk about we need to regulate stablecoins. So I think it is on the eye of regulators, but whether or not Tether will go away or just adapt to a more regulatory compliant token is yet to be seen. So I guess at the end of the day, who knows what the real, like what's actually going to happen there, but anything's possible. One token that obviously I'm really happy to see is XRP going up to $1.13 right now. So definitely breaking up and getting up to the top of our channel. If we look at that channel that we drew eons ago, because I don't normally talk about XRP, even though it's my number one holding. Eons ago, we're up at the top of our channel. It's funny how that works, right? It's funny how lines that I drew weeks ago are still applicable, because this is TA, this is support, this is resistance, and we have a line of resistance here because you can see where we bumped up on this before. And technically, I could have like drew that line a little bit further down, and we could be above it, but I'd probably say we're still fighting it because of this here. So either way, XRP sitting at $1.13, doing very well in terms of altcoins. Ethereum is not like crazy pumping, but it is now in the green. It's going up from our low point on Ethereum. Like when it got down to that 32 range, people were like, oh, this is a little weird. Expected Ethereum to do a lot more. BNB is doing very well. Well, I guess comparatively. I actually didn't look at that chart, so not as well as I thought it was. I thought 423 was a good price, but apparently not. They did have a couple of days in September that they actually did well, so they did pump in September, so that could be kind of the signaling. And you'll find this a lot too when you look at charts and when you look at other cryptocurrencies. Some of them will spike before the crypto market is healthy, and we saw that with Theta, for example. One thing that kicked off the bull market before was Theta pumping to like the incredible amount that it did. I think it first pumped to like $9 or something, and then went up to 14. And that just kind of like kicked off everything for the bull market. Where is Theta? Did Theta really drop down that far down? Wow, it's 31. I remember Theta literally being in the top 10. It's crazy how that works because it dropped. Yeah, I guess, I mean, like it halved its market cap, so that's good there. But that does show that there's a lot of potential for Theta as well to go further up. I mean, the total supply is 1 billion tokens, right? So when you have a token supply that's relatively low, you have a good platform behind it, it's going to be a decent investment as long as you're bullish on the platform and what Theta is going to do as a company. I haven't looked into them recently in terms of what's going on, like what initiatives they're doing, what roadmap they are. But before, I was fairly impressed with the platform. I was even looking at streaming on the platform at one point. And I know I was running a node for a while, but I just stopped. So, in news, so 20 or more crypto companies are planning on leaving the United States, which is a big deal. It's a meme coin season. So we'll actually see a lot of meme coins pump as well, right? Like you'll see a good amount of that actually. Yeah, if it was rank 1 in April and I bought on the $5 dip, that's a good time to buy. I think I bought around $4.50 somewhere, give or take. I'd have to really stretch back to my orders because I haven't bought Theta in a while. Like I didn't DCA it. I just kind of like put in some money, see what happens kind of thing. And it just ended up doing well. Hold on, how much did I buy? So my first purchase price, so actually a lot lower. My first purchase price was $1.40, $1.48, and then the second purchase price was $2. But that was December 28th of 2020 and January 17 of 2021. So within a month of each other, all basically last year. So, oh yeah, I see. Tipped in T-Fuel. Like it's all, yeah, I guess so. I think what was it? Was it T-Fuel that pumped, or was it another gas token? T-Fuel. I think it was another gas token, but it could have been T-Fuel. Could have been T-Fuel because I think yeah, okay, never mind. T-Fuel pumped. I was told about this, right? Like someone told me, it's like, you should look at T-Fuel. You should look at T-Fuel. Look at the gas token. Hear me out. Look at the gas token. Next thing I know, a couple weeks later into March, he's like, hey, did you buy any T-Fuel? I'm like, no. So, I mean, you can't win them all, but like 37 cents is crazy. Yeah, bought in December. I mean, like December was such a good time to buy if you look back at it, right? Like now we're looking at a market cap of $2.4 trillion in cryptocurrency. That's not even the highest too. Like it's so hard to buy at these prices, I feel. And it was so, I mean, it was hard back then. It was really hard back then, especially when you look at like where Bitcoin was. Where was Bitcoin back in December? We were actually pretty pumped, eh? So yeah, we were actually really pumped for Bitcoin going into that like 39,000 range. Again, I've been in cryptocurrency since roughly going from sometime late 2019. I started looking into investing in general in 2019. Didn't get into crypto until near the end of that year. And then I got heavy into crypto when this spike happened. Because once that spike happened, I kept telling myself exactly what Warren Buffett says: get greedy when people are fearful, get fearful when people are greedy. Literally my mantra. And I just bought. And I thought I was the dumbest motherfucker in the world, that I'm like spending my entire paycheck on cryptocurrency. Like I am an idiot. I'm a moron. I'm spending all my hard-earned cash on this. I have no money in the bank. I'm literally just... Sorry, cat's knocked over something. No money in the bank. I'm literally just scrounging for every little cent. And every little cent went to crypto. It's not like I bought anything. I didn't buy new clothes for weeks, months. I just kept buying crypto. And I thought legitimately I was crazy. I legitimately thought I was crazy. Until we saw this spike go up, and I saw it go up to 12,000. I'm like, oh, we have hope here. We have so much hope. And then we saw that crash, and I was pretty demoralized. And then we just went up. And now I'm just like, I don't stress anymore about crypto. No more, because I recognize that as long as you hold for the long term, you're going to be okay. especially if you buy in a bear market. Right now, it's, you know, it sucks for anyone coming in new. I think most people here have been in cryptocurrency for a little bit, at least maybe a couple months to a year. So some of you were able to buy in the bear market, or at least have, you know, prices that weren't unpalatable. Palatable. I'm trying to say the taste word, not palates, or palpable. But you know, it's sometimes the struggle is real in the morning, right? So, but I can see, yeah, Theta, in terms of Theta, in terms of T Fuel, I can see a platform like that working, but you know, the only reason I can see it working too is mainly because of where we are with YouTube, right? Like YouTube's not like as incredible as it once was. So yeah, I don't, yeah, exactly. It's like, well, like number one, we know exactly where it's going, right? We know it's not going to zero. We're happy with that. I will say I have been putting a little bit more into equities. Now, I don't have a lot of equities, but I have been putting a little bit more just to diversify, just to keep some money in there. But 90% of my portfolio is cryptocurrency. Yes, and that's a big thing. I think the big thing is just excluding your emotions from cryptocurrency. It's really, you really have to be kind of what's the word? Stoic. You really have to be stoic with cryptocurrency. If it goes down, you can't look at it as like, hey, oh no, like I just lost. And I saw this actually when COVID-19 happened. As in like when the lockdowns happened and when the stock market dropped. That's what I'm referring to, not COVID-19, because it's obviously happening. When that all happened, I remember, because I was bodybuilding at the time, I was reading on some forums, people were talking about, oh hey, like I just lost like $170,000. Like this is how much I lost, and they'd post their portfolio and they're like, oh no, I lost 170,000, and then I would comment, I'm like, you didn't lose 170,000. You're invested in FANG stocks, so Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google, Amazon. You're invested in good stocks. You have some VU and everything else. You have the SPY, the S&P index. You have all these good stocks. They're going to go back up, right? Like you didn't lose anything. You only lose when you sell. And if you're stoic enough and you just don't let your emotions get the best of you and make decisions that are logical and the best thing for your portfolio, you're going to do well. I definitely think just get that emotion out of there. Yeah, bought T Fuel at 3 cents. Yeah, insane. I couldn't believe how much T Fuel went up there. That's what is that? Yeah, that's a definite 10x from there. That's incredible. On a gas token too. Yeah, completely S2. Yep. Vapor, if you hold Theta, what you can do is you can throw that in Bitrue and get an interest through their piggy bank. So look into that, get on that. Because I know you can't stake Theta until you have 1,000 Theta. So, or it could be 10,000, or maybe they changed it to 1,000. I can't remember. We got a few stocks, but tied to crypto. It's hard for me to buy equities, right? And I did buy equities. And in terms of the equities that I bought, like I bought Facebook after the Facebook dip because they're being chewed out by Congress. I'll probably buy a little more. I'm sorry, like my bet is on Mark Zuckerberg being a greedy asshole, and he's not going to back down, and he's still going to make a shit ton of money. So I'm going to bet on the greedy asshole. And then I bought like Nvidia, I bought Amazon, I bought safe stuff that I don't need to worry about, safe long-term stuff, put it in my TFSA with Bitcoin and with Ethereum in my TFSA. So even though I have stocks, and like I have stocks in the company that I work at, which is doing very well as well, but even though I have stocks, my main driver is cryptocurrency. My main thing is cryptocurrency. But I also find that I'm not putting like tons of money into cryptocurrency these days. I'm DCAing little amounts, but not a crazy amount anymore. It's hard to stomach some of these prices. We took a good position in Immutable. It's in Canadian equity. Nice. I've been looking for some nice Canadian equities to get into. I've heard some other things, but looking to build up that portfolio slowly and see where we can get with equities, because eventually when I cash out in crypto, some of it is inevitably going to go into equities, because I want to retain wealth, and I definitely want to retain wealth through a bear market, But also there could be a stock market retracement as well coming. Where's Omni at? Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Now, I don't actually hold any Omni, but people talk about it all the time. I hear really good things. Is this right? No, I don't think this is the right token. Hold on. Yeah, no, this is right. So 0.07. See, I get so tripped out when things are at a fraction of a cent. So they're up approximately 6.3%, but their ROI over the year is that over the year or is that in total? Well, that wouldn't make sense in total. Yeah, all-time low. Their ROI over time is 1,285%, which is pretty incredible. If you look at the 1 year, 19,000%, which is also incredible. When did this token launch? Usually it says somewhere. Possibly in November 2019. Around 2019. Around 2020. 2021. Interesting. That's all the trading data that we have, though. Right, so break even coming soon. Yeah, I don't know. See, there's a lot of tokens. Am I upside down on any tokens? I think the only token that I'm potentially upside down on right now, and probably not right now because it pumped, was BPRO. But I know now that it's pumped, I might actually be in the green, which is nice. Maybe not, though. I'd have to look back at the dollar cost average on that. Let's see, what else? I actually, like, I'm looking at my tokens, and I don't think that there's anything specifically that I'm in the negative on. I did buy, as a meme, I bought 1 million SafeMoon tokens, okay? Now, I want to preface this with SafeMoon is a Ponzi scheme, okay? That SafeMoon I bought for $6. I remember spending $6 for 1 million SafeMoon. That is now worth $1.72. So there it is. Don't always trust people telling you to buy something. Just be very, very careful about what you're buying. Make sure you're doing your research. Even if I say to buy something, really look into it. If it's a new token, I'm saying, hey, you guys need to get onto this new token. Be a little sus about it, right? Think about it first. Don't just go right into head first into a token that you don't understand. That's an easy way to get burnt. That being said, I hope that I bring you guys some good tokens that you guys can rely on, like Solana, for example. I'm huge into Polkadot, you guys all know. It's very unfortunate where we are with PSwap, right? PSwap being, let's see here. Let's actually throw that there. I'll bring up my exchange really quick. PSwap being one of those tokens that I'm really bullish on, and one of the platforms that I'm really bullish on, but the token hasn't really done much. Like if we take a look at the chart, I hate that, like, it's so many different things to get this chart open. There we go. So if we take a look at the chart really hasn't done much, right? So you can clearly see it's just like, you know, we went on this spike, this run up here where we got to 10, 20 cents, 11 cents per PSwap token. And we had this spike here where we started trading at around 17, 18 cents. And now we're just sitting here at 5 cents, give or take, little under 5 cents or a little over 5 cents, depending on the fluctuation. So you might think, okay, well, like we went through a pump and an extended bleed. This token sucks, you know, everything else. Well, when have we seen this before? I remember this. Now, I remember this specifically when Polkadot came out. When Polkadot came out, did the exact same thing. Here, I'll go into the Polkadot chart before the pump. So what we had was a dramatic upswing, Polkadot going to roughly $6.23. I vaguely remember that being a lot more, but it is what it is. And then we saw a drop, and it went down, and it continuously just kept bleeding out until the bull market came in. We often see this with some new tokens, and often, I don't know why, but we see this with Polkadot as well, where we see that initial like pump run up and then just a extended bleed or just trading sideways. And now we're seeing it where we have PSwap, for example. It went through the dramatic run up and now this extended bleed of trading sideways, right? So could we see another extension, another pump for PSwap? I think yes. I think a lot of it depends, though, on the network effect, more people getting onto it. But I think the potential is there, at least for PSwap to have some market cap. In terms of Polkadot itself, Polkadot's actually done very well, increasing over the last little while. We've seen not much movement for Polkadot before. Now all of a sudden we're back alive. You know, we're in this thing, and Polkadot actually exists and is doing things, which is very good to see. I'm a huge Polkadot bull. I love Polkadot, and I think its substrate itself is going to do great, and it's going to do great with intermingling all these different blockchains together, which is really cool. I know somebody sent 7,000 Harmony to an ERC20 wallet. Oh, yikes. Has it at 0? Has PSwap or Omni? Rumor Shiba new blockchain will run on Solana. It could. What evidence do I have? You're so positive. I mean, like, okay, so like I don't have like an amazing amount of evidence, but I'd say the token structure and the tokenomics is the big definitive factor there. Listen, I'm not here to shit on anyone's token, and if you like SafeMoon, then shalom, you like SafeMoon. So go for it. But I don't know, there's not enough saying that it's going to actually be a comparable blockchain to even other tokens. I'd probably say even some meme tokens I would go for over SafeMoon. But I can break it down in a video if people would like, if people are interested in seeing something like that, and go through the tokenomic structure and why it could potentially not. But I mean, like, a lot of meme tokens are trying to be more legitimate now anyway, so I don't know what changes that they've made since they launched the blockchain. I know that they now have Mooncraft, which is going through more the gaming aspect of things. But yeah, so you know what? I don't have a good answer for you. Ever heard of XYO? No, I don't think so. Let's see. You're gonna have to help me out here. So are they an oracle as in oh. I'm gonna have to look into it. I have no idea. I have no idea. Because they say, so the first thing that I read is Oracle Network, and then the first thing that I think there is like Chainlink, Kylan, that kind of deal. But I don't know what geospatial is supposed to mean. Like, is it supposed to be like a mapping blockchain? I don't know. Interesting. So I'd have to look into it. I have no idea. I have no opinion on this which way or another. I'd say the token supply is a little high for my liking, but that's not always the most important thing. So I mean, $1,000 at 100% increase is still going to be 100% increase no matter what the token price is, right? So yeah, I have no idea. It looks like it went through a big pump lately. However, what rank is it? Rank 207. So we're getting down there in the depths of the ranks, but yeah, I wouldn't know. So I think I would have to do a little bit more research on exactly what the blockchain does, because they say they solve real world problems, aims to solve real world problems, whether they affect 3 people or 3 million people. But they're not really clear here what those problems are. Aim to solve a trafficking. Oh, okay. So who knows? This so it could be what, directed at human trafficking in a way. I'm confused. It's something geospatial. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. So it is a location app. So FYC and Women's Institute of Baja California, an organization with XYO, bound to a witness protocol for location data. Okay. So for things like femicide, workplace domestic violence, kidnapping, sexual assault, and other physical threats against women in Mexico. And we have like a huge trafficking situation. So it looks like at least one use case is probably looking into towards that direction. I mean, we definitely need something like this, unfortunately, but pump game from Coinbase listing, that makes sense. So that's interesting. That's interesting that Coinbase is listing a token that's ranked 207 already. So obviously there's an initiative there. If this use case is the path they're going down, that's a good use case to go down. So I suppose we'll see. I don't know what the full capabilities of the blockchain are, though. I'm still a little loose on that. So I get that it has something to do with mapping, and potentially location services. Potentially has a similar effect that like VeChain would, where it like indicates like at what point in the blockchain, like it's at a certain point or something like that. Maybe it's something similar to how that works. That being said, I don't know more about it than that. But I see the use case, at least from this aspect, being valuable in the world. So from what I remember, it's a confirmed location. Okay, so that would make sense. So things like lost child or like trafficked people or someone that's missing, or anything like that. It's like that case in the United States, the Gabby Petito case, that I will say that like Dog the Bounty Hunter, wasn't rooting for Dog in the first place, but Dog the Bounty Hunter beating the FBI, that's a little satisfying right there. So hopefully Dog gets her, but or gets him. But who knows? Maybe this blockchain could have some real world aspects in the new world, because we need to get away from that human trafficking aspect. We have a huge, actually, we're, London, Windsor, so around the area that I live, is like a huge area for that too. A lot of human trafficking up here. Sold my Saltama for 13K, waiting to buy it back. Nice, there you go. I don't normally swing trade. I normally just buy and hold for most of my stuff. I will say, after the China ban that's happened, China's a bunch of companies are moving out of China. So we talked about how like countries banning cryptocurrency is going to be damning for that country, right? It's going to hurt that country in the end, not so much the crypto industry, which is true. That being said, how hurt is China really? Because they don't have Google. Actually, not that hurt. How hurt are they that they don't have Facebook? Actually, not that hurt. In fact, they were able to develop an app that is better than most American apps or anything else, where we have, it's WeChat basically. They can do payments through it. Everything through WeChat, through their phone. So they have these capabilities in these companies, but they're all run by the CCP. That's what they want. They like blockchain. They like the blockchain technology. They don't like the decentralization, right? So they don't want people in China to have free will and autonomy over their finances or autonomy over their business or what they learn. They want to control, and that's basically what it comes down to. So sorry about that. Geez, holy spam of Brave finally got to send me an ad and spammed with a bunch of notifications. So you see that, and you see companies leaving China, and it looks good, right, from our perspective, but you know China's going to fill the gap. You know the CCP is going to fill the gap with blockchain technology companies that are operating under the CCP's umbrella and doing the CCP's bidding, which will ultimately be more restrictive for the people in China. So, and I don't think China's going away. I mean, China might, not be as well off because, they're banning cryptocurrency, but they're still going to do pretty well. I mean, China is a big superpower in the world. So, Yeah, it's a big deal. And on top of that, we have a bunch of different regulations coming through the United States trying to regulate cryptocurrency. I think Joe Biden was asking to draft up an executive order, which I'm a little skeptical of, like how that would work, because who's advising Joe Biden on this? I can't expect that Joe Biden has a intricate understanding of cryptocurrency. I can't expect anyone in government has an intricate understanding of cryptocurrency. I suspect that most of them, if you don't understand Facebook, you're definitely not going to understand Bitcoin. So why are you the people that are regulating it? I don't know. But hey, that's just young me talking. I love how Bitcoin is named Gold 2.0 by Jordan Freed, the CEO of chairman of blockchain. Immutable Holdings. That was, see, I was looking for the name because I know I read that when I opened up the article. Immutable Holdings. It's going to be Gold 2.0 and a $20 trillion market cap. And I want to say yes. I think one of the comments were like, oh, well, no shit. Yes, but also $20 trillion market cap is almost double the amount of gold. I think gold might be a little bit higher right now. I think gold is roughly at like maybe around 12 to 14 trillion dollar market cap. Oh, maybe not. Gold market cap, because I think gold prices went down. So gold right now is at 11.16 trillion dollars. So yes, 20 trillion is possible. Is 20 trillion possible now? No, right? 20 trillion is not possible now because gold is only 11.6 trillion. To say that this is gold 2.0 and hey, in couple of years it's going to outpace gold is unrealistic. Now, I don't think that's what they're saying in this article. I don't think that they're going to say that it's happening anytime soon. In fact, it could be the next generation of gold. So maybe they are taking a more long-term stance, maybe a 15-year outlook on something like this, which that I more understand. If you're talking about a more long-term 15-year outlook on Bitcoin, yes, we are talking about digital gold. Gold is the analog to Bitcoin. And we are talking about potentially a market cap that is way, way bigger than gold will ever be. Just because of how easy it is to buy Bitcoin. If you think of how easy it is to buy Bitcoin over gold, to buy gold, you have to go to a dealer of some kind, whether that be online or whether that be a local shop near you. You have to look at the bullion. You have to buy the bullion. You potentially have to buy a case depending on where you're keeping the bullion, what the coin is. Does it have numismatic value, or is there scratches on it that's going to impact the spot price when you try to redeem it for money? There's a lot of aspects that you have to think about gold, whereas Bitcoin, you buy the Bitcoin, you throw it in Celsius, or you throw it in BlockFolio, not BlockFolio, BlockFi, and then you just let it sit there, right? It's very easy, and you gain interest. You can gain interest on gold as well, but it's a different process, right? You send the gold off to a vault, it gets hold, and your value number is posted on your account screen. Your gold is in a vault, and you gain a little bit of interest on that gold. So that's always possible, but it's not an easy situation. And if you look at children today, it's funny that I'm saying this, kids today. I'm 31 years old for context. So if you look at kids today and how they like things with social media, how they like things with their phone, it's very instant gratification. Get that thing and get it where it needs to go. It's very quick. I would suspect that gold holding among younger people is going to drop over the course of 10 to 15 years. So the next generation could potentially prefer Bitcoin over gold. That's possible. Even now, I definitely gravitate more to Bitcoin than gold. I have more Bitcoin than I do gold. But I still like gold, and I still will buy gold, and I'm happy to own gold. But that being said, I like Bitcoin a lot more. They don't have Facebook. They are better informed about the world, but to a degree, right? Because the CCP controls a lot of their media, so they're informed for what the CCP want them to be. But I would say, in terms of Facebook is a net negative in the social construct of things. I think everyone needs to take a hard look at social media, especially Facebook, especially like all those media things. And look at like what kind of information they're getting, right? And how that's kind of indoctrinating your thinking. And you really need to think about that hard, because it's hard to really recognize. But Facebook is actually like not the healthiest thing for you. Yes, going back to that XRP pump, XRP has been looking pretty juicy, going above. Actually, in the time that we talked, in the time of me rambling on, XRP has gone above our line here, broken out above our channel. So we'll see where it goes. Now, I'm still of the stance. Sorry. I'm still of the stance. We are not going to see an all-time high XRP, which I believe is $3.40. We're not going to see an all-time high XRP until this case is gone. And we're getting close. It's been almost a year. We're getting up to December. December 25th will be a year. I'm telling you right now, when XRP is done, when this is all over, okay, when this case is over, I'm setting up a live stream. I'm buying alcohol, and we are all having a party. Just what's going to happen. Some of my people, some of my viewers don't like XRP, and that's fine. You don't need to go to that live stream. It's okay, because I'm going to celebrate without you. I've been a firm believer in XRP. I bought XRP early. It's pumped as much as Bitcoin has. If I kept my money in Bitcoin or XRP at the time that I bought it, I would make roughly between 20% less. So I think my Bitcoin has increased roughly 364%, and my XRP has increased 340%, right? Like the difference in the two, yes, it would have been better to go into Bitcoin, but it's not that big of a deal, right? I still made a good amount of money with my XRP. I'm happy with XRP, and I know where it's going to go. It's the only regulatory compliant cryptocurrency. Actually, what is it? I did a video about the Federal Reserve now accepting the payment structure that XRP is compliant with. I firmly believe that the writing is on the wall with that. I firmly believe that regulators want to use something like XRP to onboard the legacy financial system. And when we talk about something like that, we talk about trillions of dollars moving through XRP on a daily. And I'm not saying moving through. The whole point isn't people are buying XRP. People are moving money and funds through XRP, and that's going to increase the value. That's essentially the business model of Ripple. It's the business model of the XRP blockchain. So there's going to be a lot to go through. Yeah, definitely a huge party time. Bought a boatload of XRP. It's going to be a great investment in my opinion. This might be a silly question, but what's the difference between PolkaSwap and PolkaDex? Is it the same thing? It's actually not the same thing. So they're both substrate code bases. And now so here's the thing, as a YouTuber, you start to, and I'm not saying that as in like grandiose, like, oh, I'm a YouTuber. I'm not actually. I have 3K subs. It is what it is. But like as someone that makes videos and gets spammed by bots and people telling me to show their tokens, I noticed that there's a lot of canned PolkaDex comments saying like, oh, PolkaDex is just better, right? PolkaDex isn't just better, okay? PolkaDex is fundamentally something different. PolkaDex. So I'll bring it up and show you the difference. Is that coming up? Hold on. I feel like I'm brain farting. Oh, I forgot a L. That's why. But they're fundamentally different things. So the reason why they're different things is PolkaSwap is an AMM, an automated market maker, where PolkaDex is an order book decentralized exchange. And you know that might not make sense if you don't know much about trading. But if you look at most trading platforms, say like Binance, for example, we'll just connect here. Oh, can I not see him? Okay, well, we'll go to the front here. So if you look at something like Binance, where it's more of an order book style, right? You have your order book here on the side of your orders going through, your limit and your market orders, and you have everything going through with the charts. It looks very basic to the normal Binance structure, order book trading, right? Whereas a PolkaDex is an automated market maker, PolkaDex, or PolkaSwap, sorry, I should say. where it's more like Uniswap, right? So it's more just you go through, you have the swap and the bridges, and well, I mean, you don't have the bridges like normally, but you have your swap and you swap through this way rather than in an order book. So they're not the same thing. They fundamentally do two different things, and I don't think one is going to be better than the other. I think there's a place for both of them, so there's just a lot of tribalism. But that being said, the Pokédex platform looks pretty sleek, and if they can make a mobile version that rivals, say, Binance, because I'm not a mobile guy. Maybe it's because I'm old. Maybe it's because I've been on a desktop all my life. I'm just not a mobile guy, but I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends that I got into cryptocurrency and got into cryptocurrency after me, send me screenshots all the time of their trading, and they're always trading mobile. Always mobile. So, I mean, Pokédex is gonna do good. It's not gonna be bad. But they're fundamentally two different things than PokeSwap. Definitely not a silly question at all, because it's super confusing at the get-go. But I would look into Pokédex. It's not a bad looking exchange. Now, it's not completely out yet, right? So you got to preface that. But when you look at something like 500,000 TPS, right? When you look at 500,000 transactions per second, and you look at, I think the transactions per second of the stock market is something like 115,000. So pretty crazy. Afternoon for New Jersey. I have a buddy in New Jersey. Hey, man, how's it going? XRP is a vehicle to buy more. Yeah, and I mean, like, and like that makes sense for a lot of like what you want to do, right? You want to preserve wealth and everything else, and be able to get into a nice safe asset. And Bitcoin is a great asset to be in. I said this, and I got flack for this in my cash out video. So the best way to cash out is dynamically DCAing, right? Dollar cost averaging, small amounts on a consistent basis, and then increasing that amount if the price goes up, decreasing that amount if the price goes lower. But just consistently dollar cost averaging in a range of prices is what you should do. And I said I would dollar cost average in 3 assets. Number 1 would be stablecoins, so most likely USDC or DAI. Number 2 would be gold, so Pax gold or buying physical gold. Or number 3 is Bitcoin. And people chirped the hell out of me for saying I'd buy Bitcoin. Well, that's weird, right? Because when you look at Bitcoin, when you look at something like Bitcoin, and you look at when Bitcoin pumps, so we'll take a look at Bitcoin's pump here. Let's go from, we'll measure this out. From October 18th of 2020 to all the way to February. Let's go a little bit further because we didn't have a pump until April, somewhere give or take. So we went 485% increase over the course of 179 days, right? Is the increase that we had. This pump started basically October 18th. If we look at Ethereum, and we look at the pump here, so let's look at October 18th, you can clearly see Ethereum really didn't do all that much, right? Just kind of stayed there. If you look at what was that until March, April, right? If you look at here, it didn't do all that much, but Ethereum eventually pumped, right? Eventually went to its peak, getting up way past that 400 and whatever percent, 485%, going up to 1,100%, right? Give or take, in roughly the same amount of time, 186 days, right? But it lagged. So Bitcoin pumps first, then altcoins pump. And this happened with every other altcoin, right? If we look at Cardano, when did Cardano start pumping? It didn't pump until December. And it went up a dramatic amount. So say you bought Cardano, right? Say you bought Cardano, and you went up 1,800, right? It would be advantageous for you, especially at that point, to price out into Bitcoin. One thing that you also want to be paying attention to when you're cashing out into Bitcoin is looking at something like the Bitcoin ADA chart. or the Bitcoin correlation for whatever you're looking at, right? So when you're looking at Bitcoin ADA, right now we're on a decline. So right now, is it the time to sell Cardano for Bitcoin? Absolutely not. It's the time to buy Cardano with Bitcoin, right? This is how markets work. You buy low, sell high. But eventually, Cardano is going to hit this line up here and be worth 9,000 sats. Maybe it's time to sell Cardano into Bitcoin, right? Those are things that you're going to have to think about as we move forward into this. And adding Bitcoin stacks into your portfolio are never going to be a bad thing for you. It's always a safe investment. Now, I will always hold Cardano. I'm just using it as an example. The same thing can apply for Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So right now, Bitcoin and Ethereum is trading sideways. If maybe the price spiked, right? Like this price spiked, this is time to cash out, right? So this huge spike here, this happened from April. So March 28th. So this was when we saw that big spike for Ethereum, right? We looked at that. From that period between March and April that we looked at the Bitcoin pump, Ethereum skyrocketed. So all the way at the top would have been a great time to sell Ethereum and buy Bitcoin with that Ethereum, right? So those are things to look into to gain more Bitcoin, to have more sats in your portfolio. Very, very important thing to think about. And it's very useful to look at something like the Bitcoin chart and other cryptocurrencies. It's useful not only if you're just selling. Like I look at this if I'm looking at Cardano, like is Cardano going through a breakout? And we see Cardano consistently just trading level right now with the United States dollar, but it's going down compared to Bitcoin, right? And you might think like, oh no, like what's going on? Like why is it doing this? Well, it's doing this because Bitcoin's pumping and Cardano isn't. So right now the value of a Cardano per sat is going to be lower, or sats per ADA is going to be lower. But eventually that is going to hit bottom and it's going to spike up and we're going to see Cardano boom and Bitcoin trade level, or Bitcoin go down and Cardano go up. Most likely it's going to be Bitcoin trading level and then Cardano is going to boom above the Bitcoin price and be pretty valuable. So that's a basic understanding of cashing out into Bitcoin where it's advantageous to do so. Now, I wouldn't cash out into Bitcoin right now, obviously, because that'd be stupid. But hey, when the price goes up, if I want to take a little bit of profits out of my Cardano and I don't want it sitting in stablecoin, I'm still bullish. Crypto could still go up. Maybe I'd put that in Bitcoin. I'd think about it, right? So it'd be something that I'd weigh out. Is Bitcoin going to go up or down in the near future, and why, right? So that's basically my perspective from there. But that being said, I would still take a bulk. I'd probably say roughly between 50 to 60% in USDC, moving that into things like equities, different long-term cryptocurrencies, real estate potentially, other investments that are maybe safer. So 60% of my 60% of my profits would probably go there. I'd probably put roughly 30% into gold, give or take, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on where gold is on the market cycle, because we are coming for a gold bull market soon. And then I'd probably say the rest, the last little bit would most likely be in Bitcoin. Again, I'm a firm believer that stacking sats is probably the best thing that you can do for your future. Even though I hold all the altcoins that I do, it doesn't mean I'm any less bullish on them. But you know, if you want as sure a thing as you can get in cryptocurrency, I think Bitcoin is the surest thing that you're gonna find. So if you want to be safe, Bitcoin. If you want to take a little bit of risk, do what I do and have 40% of your portfolio as XRP. Some people call me crazy for that. I don't know. I think I'm okay. I sleep pretty easy at night, knowing that you know, my portfolio is at where it is, and we're still in the midst of an SEC case, right? So we are going to wrap it up. If I see a question there, I'm gonna answer it. But otherwise, we're probably gonna wrap this up. It's been an amazing Saturday. It's been an amazing weekend, going into a great weekend for Bitcoin, for cryptocurrency. The crypto market is currently sitting at $2.3, $2.4 trillion, give or take. It's off on some areas. I know CoinGecko says 2.4. TradingView says 2.3. So it is what it is. Bitcoin is above $1 trillion in terms of its market cap. If we take a look at Bitcoin, there it is, back above $1 trillion. So definitely doing very well. We have some life in the market coming from XRP, and then we have some zombies in the market, right? So some things not really doing much. So at this point, I think it's just holding onto our hats, seeing where we go for October, seeing what October brings us, and seeing where we're going to end up at the end of the year. I'm still a firm believer that the bull market will most likely end sometime in 2022 with a market peak. So I still think we have a lot of time. But right now is a good time to evaluate where you are in your portfolio, see if you want to make any changes before the second run up here, before we really get bullish. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for showing up, Coffee and Crypto. Sorry about last week. A cousin came down from Alberta, so it just wasn't in the cards for me to get this hour in. I really tried, but I wasn't able to. But that's it for me. Hopefully everyone enjoys their weekend. Take it easy.